Hello, my name is Aminat Balogun, and I'm a technical product manager professionally, but also specifically for the purpose of this video, I'm also one of the owners of TidyNest, which is a business, a cleaning agency, basically, where we offer on-demand cleaning services to whoever needs it, and like residential building, office building, just any space that needs cleaning. We provide on-demand cleaning services to you. Just a quick backstory. Like I mentioned earlier, I have a 9 to 5, but in my personal life was really a mess. And one of the things that was a mess was literally my space. It's always not organized, and somebody that liked to be organized all the time. It usually gave me headache, but I could really do anything about it. So I had choices of having to reach out to cleaning agencies to send someone down to my space, which I wasn't really okay with because I had trust issues with letting people into my space. And we just felt like, okay, there's really nothing different that Tinyness is actually doing compared to other agencies out there. But I just thought of how we could use technology to actually deliver like reliable quality services to our customers while ensuring that they trust us. And I think that's where this project that I'm about to demo actually comes in. And I think it's also important for me to mention that for the past 4 months or so, I've been deep into computer vision. I've been trying to understand the different applications and how it can help us in delivering or making people's lives better, like literally. So I just felt to have a personal project, and I thought, okay, why not I just use TidyNest as a case study in applying computer vision or technology in general just to deliver quality services to customers, ensuring that they trust us. And just a quick note, this project that I'm about to demo is purely vibe coded using Google AI Studios. It's just an imagination of what could be if we decide to use technology or if we decide to integrate technology with the aim of trying to get trust with our clients. So this technology actually consists of both computer vision and also like um relying on location data. And the part where computer vision comes in, of course, I'll be showing most of this during the demo. And the part where computer vision actually comes in is ensuring that we are able to verify the people that we are sending to like clients that have requested for our services, ensuring that they are who they say they are. Imagine like I'm a cleaner that I'm expected to go and clean somewhere, and then I'm sending my sister to go there, right? That's not us providing trust to our clients to trust us. So computer vision also helps us to like assess the work that is being done by the cleaners just to ensure that we need an eye over there. And of course, we are just starting out, and it's not possible for us to be everywhere while to ensure that a quality cleaning is provided to our clients. So we need to have eyes at all places. So that's where computer vision comes in by being our eyes, literally. Like I mentioned earlier, we would be also integrating location data. And one of the things that you would see during the demo is when you are trying to request for a service as a customer or a client, you have to provide us with your precise location where the space is. And then if you want to enroll as a cleaner, we also get your precise residential location. So location data helps us to manage our operations in terms of like if I get a requested service, maybe in Lekki phase one in a particular estate or whatever, and I need a cleaner to go over there. I don't have to go through my entire directory and just vaguely looking for cleaners that stay in Lekki. Location data helps me understand what cleaner is closest to that client, thereby saving us cost in a way. Because imagine you stay very far, that means your transport fare would be higher to get to the location of the space. So that's one example in which it also helps us manage operation. Another way that it also helps us manage operation is it helps us understand um the patterns in which the services are requested for, right? Maybe a particular location requests for services more than another location, so it helps us understand demand in different locations and also helps us understand how distributed our workers are in correlation to the demand of our services. So we can always like plan better. Then also in terms of costs, like I mentioned earlier, because we want to have very um reliable services to our clients. So we actually thought of, okay, what if we had supervisors that always go on sites to monitor, to supervise people that are working on sites. But if we had like 10 places to clean in a day for better distribution, we might probably be looking to hire like 3 to 5 supervisors, and that's like extra cost of labor. But with computer vision, again, it helps us like be our eyes on site, like I mentioned earlier. So it helps us reduce that cost by ensuring that people or cleaners do their job very well. So I think like that is all. And I would be giving you a demo of how TidyNest works. And in general, the main reason why we decided, or I decided to like go for this project, is my main aim is just to ensure that we are providing reliable quality services for the customers, just to ensure that they trust us. And this is where technology comes in. So of course, for technology to be built, it has to be sustainable. But like I mentioned, this is just a side project. So see you in the demo. In a quick button, book your cleaning. You're just required to provide us with certain information that are only necessary for us to facilitate delivering the cleaning service to you. Your location, the dates you want us to come and clean 48 hours in advance, then also the time you would prefer. I mean, I want by 5 p.m. because I'll be done with work. The type of services that is needed, is it residential cleaning, shop cleaning, or even deep cleaning? And some people might have preference, right? I prefer a female to come work for me. And if you have any instructions, this is very important because I would love somebody to be very careful around my gadgets when you come around to clean for me. And then your email address. I mean, the purpose of this is so that you can get automatic notifications, maybe when a cleaner has been assigned to you, your job has been done, and also your phone number, just for quotation of prices and every other thing. And the last important thing is the images of the space. And we require at least 3 images to be provided, or videos, just to ensure that we are able to capture what the space is like and assess for your prices. And that's it. All you just have to do is provide this and proceed to submit your request, ensuring that you're requesting for our services 48 hours before, just to ensure that we have people on ground and mobilize them, and that's it. The first stage as a cleaner is for you to apply to be one. And for your application, that's the first stage. You need to provide us with your necessary basic information for us to be able to assess you and reach out to you to train you. And most importantly, we require that you provide us with an identity verification. For this purpose, we use NIN. And then once you are done, you receive a notification letting you know that you will be reached out to. And once your application has been approved for enrollment, you get a link where you can now complete and set up your profile. You provide us with important security details like your password and then your facial verification, which is something very critical. You have instructions that lets you know to take your facial features, your front face and both side faces, which is your right and your left side faces. And you would also have to provide your residential information by selecting your address from the list of information, and that's it. In this section, which is the administrative end of things, I will be showing you how this dashboard allows admins of TidyNest to be able to manage their entire operations and also give them more insight into how their services are being requested and how they can manage the entire delivery of the service to their customers. So I would start by logging in with the admin credentials that I have. So as you can see, this is a dashboard, and by first glance, it provides me with a lot of KPIs, which are just basic indicators for me to see how the business is doing at the moment. So I can see the total number of cleaners that have applied, cleaners that have been approved, onboarded, services that have been requested, those that have been assigned, and those that are still pending. So this chart right here also provides me with the distribution of both the customers that have requested for services, the locations, basically their precise locations, and also cleaners that have been onboarded, their precise locations on the map. So the customers are the ones with the blue points, while the cleaners are the ones with the green squares on the map. So you can see the distribution of how, I mean, like basically looking at it, you can see that we have more cleaners than we have of customers, which in a way gives me an insight of, oh, maybe people are not requesting for our services as much as we are actually onboarding cleaners, right? And it also shows me that within Ikeja right here, we don't have anybody requesting for our services. But we have more people requesting for our services somewhere around here. I don't know what side is. Then we also have people in Victoria Island, just one person, and also Yaba. So this kind of information is letting you understand as the business owner of TidyNest, to maybe go deep into why people at certain locations are not requesting for our services. So I want to look into that and the like. So going deep down into how operations would actually be managed. I mean, that's for the insights part of things. So I can see that I have a customer here in Yaba that is pending to have a cleaner assigned to them to come and work in that space. So instead of me trying to figure out, oh, who is also in Yaba, right? I have the customer location and I have various cleaners location. Once I click on the customer, which is Zina Mohammed, it gives me suggestions of the closest person. Now you can imagine I have this cleaner here and I also have this cleaner here. And looking at it, it seems like both of them are like close to the client. But by default, when I try to click on that client on the map, it suggests the closest cleaner to Zainab, which is Blessing Ade, and it's just 2.6 kilometers away. So imagine trying to sort out the logistics for Blessing, which would be cheaper compared to assigning someone else that is far from Yaba, like this person, right? This is how getting their precise location helps us to also manage operations efficiently. Another way that we also use this in terms of operational. So John is actually now assigned to Zainab Mohammed. So imagine John has already gone to the space of the location, which is Knights Command School, Ikorodu. This table actually gives us all services that have been requested, and John goes to that location in which Zainab had already requested for our service. He checks in, he performs his duty, and submits his work for assessment. Now, the AI actually gives him like an assessment overview. Maybe your job was done right, your job was not done right, but it's also important for us on the admin end of things to actually see the work that was done, because we cannot leave such decision alone just for AI. So the human part of it also has to be in the loop. So the admin, whenever a job is completed, um, can also proceed to check out the work that was done. So now I can see that Zainab is definitely the customer. John checked in by 10:15 a.m. or PM, however the case may be. And it took him 2 hours and 0 minutes to totally be able to complete the client's work. So that is between the time in which it took the images of the space and the period in which it cleaned and finally took the after images of the space, which indicates that he's done with his work. So the visual evidence, which is the before and also the after cleaning, I can also access those, which were images that John had already taken on field. And apologies, these videos are not I mean, these pictures are not showing, and that's because the amplified codec. So, I mean, so just to ensure that there's a second layer of check on what was done, just like a report. And with that, John can be paid. I mean, I can also choose to download the report, but an overview, the main point of this is just how it also helps the admin to assess the work that was done by John. As an admin, another quick action that we could do is also to verify new cleaners. So we have two stages of recruitment. The first stage is where the cleaners come in and like try to request to join our community of cleaners, and we have to assess them. So that's where we verify them, train them, and they are qualified enough, they can join our community of cleaners. So that's where we proceed to verify them after we are okay with their training and they've been vetted, and we can proceed to verify them. And upon verification, the cleaner receives some information in which they can now proceed to enroll, in which is their final onboardment to join the community of cleaners. The cleaner, once a job gets assigned to you, you get automatically notified in your email, and you can always log into your dashboard whenever to see all the list of jobs that you have assigned to you so you can plan ahead. And for each job, we provide you very important information like the name of the client, the type of cleaning, the contact of the client, the dates, the time, and even for you to see the distance from your location to the client's location of the space. And we also suggest some time, like the time you can leave your house so that you can get to the space at the time that the client wants. And you can, when you're ready for a job, proceed to verify your location. You have to be at the exact location in which the space was requested for cleaning. And once you've passed that check, we need to verify your identity. So this is where your facial biometric comes in. We need to ensure that you are the person that was assigned to do that job. And in just a few seconds, you should be able to verify yourself as the person assigned. And once you've been verified, you can now proceed to start cleaning. And for you to start cleaning, we need to see the condition of the space before you start cleaning. So you have to take pictures of the space before you start. So everywhere you need to clean the entire space, if it's a parlor, a kitchen, a room, take those pictures. I mean, this is a way for us to understand what that you've done, and this is how things will be communicated with the client. So I'm taking the first picture, then I can proceed to take another picture of the space if there's any other one, which I have of a very dirty space right here with air and everything that needs to be cleaned. So I take this picture. Then I think I have another one, which I'm going to take right now, which is my kitchen. And I'll take that space and snap it. So I'm done. I can proceed to start cleaning since I don't have any more space to clean. So this just helps to track. See, when I'm done, I can come back. So I'm actually done now. So I can start taking the after pictures of the spaces. So this is the after picture of the first space, which I'm done cleaning. I'll proceed to the second picture, and I'll take the picture of that space too, because I'm done with that space too. So I need to also take that picture. Then I'll proceed to the third picture and take the after picture of the condition of the space, which I would do right now. And yeah. So I'm done with all of this, and the next thing is to submit this for analysis by the AI to verify the quality of the work that I've done. And if it's good to go, I can continue. And if it's not good to go, it will just tell me what was noticed. And this does not affect my job in any way. As long as I know that I did it very well, the admin would is going to still review it on their end, and I'm done with my job. In this section, I'll be walking you through the technical parts of the behind the scenes of how TidyNest works. And in this particular section, I'll be giving you an overview of how the entire system works end to end holistically. So if you've gone through the user section, you would understand that we have the admin part of things within the system. We also have the cleaners part of things, but for the purpose of this overview of the system, I'll be focusing on the cleaners part of things, basically how they're able to set up their accounts and also how they're able to execute the work that they're expected to do at their assigned locations. So, as a cleaner for account setup, the first thing you would have to do is definitely provide us your account information, including your residential information. And at this point, we'll be leveraging a third party API, which is Google Maps. And the purpose of this is just so that we can have your precise location on the map. So to help us with other operational things like I mentioned earlier. So Google Maps provides us with your longitude and latitude and other location information that will be useful during your account setup. And of course, when this information are also very critical for assessment of your account, of your profile, if you are fit to be a cleaner or not after you've been trained and vetted. So afterwards, of course, for you to properly and finally set up your account, once you've been approved, you will definitely um receive some form of onboarding link for you to complete your onboarding process. And that's where your official enrollment comes in. So of course, your official enrollment is not included in the first budget information that we collect from me because it's unnecessary at that point if we've not decided if we want to proceed with you. So the facial enrollment comes at the second stage of account setup, and this is where we get your biometric. You have to like scan your face, your whole face, your side face, and everything, just to ensure that we properly have your facial features. And we would be utilizing Azure, Microsoft Azure for this service in terms of ensuring that we're able to save your facial features for next time purposes in case you get assigned to a job. It's easy for you to verify yourself. So at the point of facial enrollment, of course, you will provide us with some certain information so that we would say within our system. So Azure actually provides us with a reference ID when we've saved a particular or when we've extracted a particular person's facial features. It helps save it, but it also returns an ID, which for the purpose of this demo, I'll be calling a reference ID. So we actually have that reference ID stored along with the information of the user. So this facial features on Azure is also stored in a person object, and then the entire information is stored within our DB as part of the user information. So that's how the account setup actually works. So in terms of job execution, of course, as a cleaner, if you want to execute the job, that means you've already been enrolled fully into the system and you've been assigned to work somewhere. So let's assume you've been assigned somewhere to work at. You definitely have to log in. And first, we have APIs for those logics, those business logics, ensuring that you log in and you are able to see all the jobs that has been assigned to you. Because of course, as a cleaner, you can have more than one job assigned to you, and you can check out which one you want to proceed with depending on the location that you are at that point and time. Then you proceed to check in. So during check-in, remember that during check-in, we collected the location of the space, the residential space, right? So we had long to the life history. So once you try to check in, the first thing we do is we try to determine if your current location is within the same location as the location of the space that was requested by the client. So at least you have to be maybe like 1 kilometer away from that location, not even like 10 kilometers. You have to be at that precise location. And once you successfully checked in, we verified the live location. The next thing we have to do is that we need to verify that who was assigned to that job or who was assigned to that space. And that's where our facial verification comes in, which is one of the most critical phases of TidyNest. So you proceed to open your camera and verify yourself that you are who you say you are, and you also rely on Azure on this. So what happens is initially we have stored your facial information, facial attribute with Azure in a person object, and then we also store the reference ID. So it's easier for us to fetch your user profile at this stage where you want to do verification, and we have your key reference ID. So once we call Azure to verify your face, we send this along with your reference ID for Azure to do a confirmation check of confidence if you are the same person that is with that reference ID. So if that is confirmed, depending on the confidence level, then you successfully checked in, and then you can start taking images of where you are expected to work. So taking images of where you are expected to work is assuming that you have successfully verified yourself, and then you can take those images, and then when you're also done with your work, you can take images of the space showing the quality of work that you've done afterwards, and then you can submit both for analysis to ensure that the space is tidy. So also rely on Azure for this, where it helps us assess the before images before the space was cleaned, and after the images when the after images when the space was cleaned, thereby comparing both and analyzing the work that was done. So Azure also helps in this regard. So depending on the confidence level, it returns something to our system which registrates the user, e.g., the space was not properly tidied up, it's still clustered, the floor is not properly mopped, etc. So depending on whatever information was returned, I mean, we get this via our API to also store just for the human assessment purposes and for viewing of the work that was done on the admin side of this. So we save this information via the API into the DB. So in general, this is how the cleaner side of things work in terms of having visual representation of how the cleaner is expected to interact with the system and what other third-party services that we are relying on to ensure that we bring this solution to life. In this section, I would be giving you a quick walkthrough, hopefully, on how the database schema looks like, which would help in supporting the business logic in TidyNest. So we're having three entities. If you've gone through the user demo, we, as a customer, all you just need to do is request for a service anytime you need it. You do not need to have an account with us. So we do not have a dedicated table for the customers. Meanwhile, what we do have is a table that helps us to store every requested service. So we have three tables in general. The requested service entity, a table on its own. We also have the cleaners entity where we store information about the cleaners. And we also have the activity entity. So the cleaners entity ensures that we are able to store information about the cleaners, which is their ID, which is an auto-generated ID, which is definitely going to be in a string format. Of course, their first name, their last name, which are all information that we'll get from them, their email address, and the username, and also the application status. So the application status is going to be an unknown type. And remember that we have two stages of onboarding, which is the first stage, which is the application stage, and also the second stage, which is the enrollment stage. But they are all still tied to the same user. So what we use to differentiate them is the application status. So we set the application status, then the password hashed, which is the hashed word, but for security purposes, it will be hashed inside the DP. Then, of course, their gender, their facial ID, which is the reference ID that will be returned by Azure when we make the facial enrollment of the person and save it inside the person group. We get the facial ID and store them inside the facial ID column and the DB for the user. Then most importantly, the date the user was created and also the date the user was updated. And their types is the types of those columns are date time and date time. So that's it about the cleaners entity. So moving on to the requested service entity, we have this information. So whenever a customer requests for a service, of course, regardless of how many times it was requested, they are all different. So they will have their own unique IDs. collect the first name of the client, the last name, the phone number, the email address, the request status, which helps us to track if the request is pending, which is if it is still new, it was just requested or something. If the request is in progress, if it's completed, or if it's rejected. And also we have an assigned user ID. So for every requested service, there's definitely going to be an assigned user ID, not at first. Of course, it's going to be maybe null at the point of request, but there's going to be a user ID whenever a user or a cleaner gets assigned. So as you can see, there's actually a relationship within the cleaner's entity at the requested service entity, which is the cleaner ID as a foreign key in this table, which will be important for us to be able to know which user is assigned to a particular requested service, and also help us to, in terms of maybe occasional efficiency, maybe view all requested service that was assigned to a particular cleaner. So this assigned user ID that is acting as a foreign key would help us in achieving that. So other information that would be stored is the address, the longitude and latitude, and that's when we collect like the location information from Google Maps when they are trying to request for the service. So what we actually store is the longitude and latitude, the geocode format, and it's stored as a float. We also store the service type, which is also an enum. Do you want an official cleaning, a residential cleaning, that kind of thing, your preference, your instructions, the images of the space. I mean, you have to provide us with images of the space. So this will be stored as an array because we are expecting you to send more than one images to us. The dates, the time, when you want the service to occur, and then the verification results, which is when the cleaner comes over and takes images of your space, and we are able to on our end see the result of the verification, and also the date created and date updated. So that's it about the requested service entity. So for the activity entity, the activity entity also helps in the admin side of things to be able to track what is ongoing, and in terms of also understanding how each cleaner is performing over time. So it just basically helps us understand how the cleaner's digital behavior, let me put it that way, on the site. So whenever a cleaner checks in, we understand that, okay, we need to log this as an activity within our system. So we identify the cleaner that logged in and what service they are trying to work on at that point. So if I'm an Aminat and I log in, and what I want to do is work on the work that was given to me in this location. So whenever I proceed to check in, that's an activity of me initiating that I want to start working on something. So we log that record as an activity. So with your cleaner ID serving as a primary key, and also the service ID, which is tied to that space you're about to work on. So that's also a foreign key. And then your check-in time, the time taken for you to completely finish that work. So this is in between when you take the before images of the space, and the time in between that to you finally taking the after images of the space. So that's actually the time taken for you to complete that job. And then the verification results that is gotten from Azure in terms of assessment of your work done. We also track that within your activity, and also the reason for failure, if any, or if you actually failed the assessment, and also of course the date created. So the main importance of this activity entity is just for us to be able to track in a way separately from the requested service the activity of the cleaner for a particular service. And I mean, like, that's it. And hopefully, when or if the technology gets a bit more sophisticated than this, you might probably need to introduce more tables and more relationships within the tables. But for now, this is what the database schema looks like. Okay.